first, it just felt like one of those miserable drives home, where everybody's tired and irritated and ready for the weekend to be over. This was out along Route 16 in northern Washington, sometime in early November, and it was me, Darren, and Luke heading back after heavy rain ruined most of a fishing trip we'd planned for months. Sometime after midnight, Darren admitted he was struggling to stay awake. So we pulled off the highway, looking for somewhere to sit for an hour before getting back on the road. That's how we found the old rest area. The place barely looked operational anymore. The entrance sign had fallen sideways into the weeds. Half the parking lot was cracked apart with grass growing through it. And the only building left standing was an old restroom structure with plywood covering the windows and faded spray paint almost washed away by weather. Still, there were fresh tire tracks cutting through the wet pavement, so we figured people obviously still stopped there sometimes. We parked near the trees and stayed inside the truck, listening to rain hit the roof, because it was too cold to stand outside long. And after maybe 10 minutes, Luke pointed out another vehicle farther down near the opposite end of the lot. None of us had noticed it pull in. It was sitting completely dark, with no lights on. Darren asked if it had already been there when we arrived, and nobody could answer for sure. The strange part was where it was parked, not near the building, not near the road, just facing directly toward the woods at the far edge of the lot, like whoever parked it had stopped there on purpose. We joked about it for maybe a minute before Darren shut the truck off completely to save gas, and right after the engine died, we heard something metallic strike the ground somewhere outside near the restroom building. At first, I couldn't see anything through the rain, but then movement crossed near the building. Somebody carrying a flashlight low near their leg. The beam kept disappearing against the wet pavement while they walked slowly along the side of the restroom structure. Without ever turning toward us, Darren cracked his window slightly and yelled, asking if everything was all right, but the person never answered. They just kept walking around the back of the building until the light disappeared completely, and then, maybe 15 seconds later, we heard another metallic clang from the exact same spot as before. Luke laughed nervously and said maybe somebody dropped something, but while he was talking, Darren suddenly leaned forward toward the windshield and said, "Wait." The flashlight was back. Same side of the building, same slow pace, same movement. At first, I honestly thought it was somebody different, but then I realized they were walking the exact same route as before, same speed, same pauses, even stopping briefly near the corner before disappearing around the back again. We sat there, watching, without talking this time. And then the metallic sound happened again. Luke opened his door after that and stepped halfway out, yelling toward the building, asking what the hell they were doing. And the second he did, the flashlight stopped moving completely. Not turned off, just stopped. We all sat there staring at it, motionless, near the corner of the building, while rain hammered the windshield hard enough to blur everything beyond the glass. Then another flashlight appeared, farther back in the trees behind it, and maybe 2 seconds later, another appeared near the road entrance. Darren locked the doors immediately and started the truck. before he could pull out headlights, suddenly swept across the parking lot behind us. Another vehicle, turning in from the highway, slow enough that it almost looked deliberate. Old pickup truck, mud down the sides. It parked in almost the exact same place as the first vehicle near the woods. And none of us spoke for a few seconds, because all three of us realized the same thing at once. The first vehicle near the tree was empty. Its doors were standing open in the rain, and near the restroom building, the original flashlight started moving again, along the exact same path it had walked before. Darren backed us out onto the highway, so fast the truck slid slightly on the wet road before straightening again, and none of us really said much after that, because there wasn't anything to say that made the situation feel normal again. I remember looking back one last time through the rear window while the rest area disappeared behind the rain and trees, and the worst part is realizing none of it changed after we left. The rain kept falling, the flashlight kept moving, and another set of headlights had already taken our place in the parking lot.